I am the traveling pocket salesman. For only $1 and a tickle of my nose, I'll sew a pocket right onto your clothes. Howdy. Where did you come from? Are you some kind of Marco Polo, Lewis and Clark type interested in Ares Valley? I'm glad word finally got out about this place. You've heard about the sheeps that bleed poetry? The sheeps that contain beings? Well, it's true. Sorry, I couldn't hold it in anymore. I know everyone loves their homeland, but come on, our place rules. I'm a red-blooded nationalist for Ares Valley, baby. The sheeps have poems inside. I mean, of course I'd love to live here. Although, we haven't heard any of those poems in a long time. No one is willing to do what it takes. You're the first outsider to come here in a long, long time. Just me and a few other lonely old souls are the only inhabitants of Ares Valley. The great tree has grown hungry. I suggest you take care of a sheep or two and feed the great tree. Something awesome might happen. You might be just the kick in the ass the great tree needs. Sweets. To delight in them is not enough. My teeth shake free from my gums like icicles shattering after days of eating nothing but glazed fruits. To delight in them is not enough. Not even with their beautiful, effortless friendship, although they water my eyes same as the evening beer. To delight in them is not enough. To cease my twitching, my biting of my own hair, rain burns me like a cigarette puff to the eyes. I crack my jaw on candied pecans. To delight in them is not enough. I am choking on a tall glass of creamer. Scratching at my throat, the cream bubbles back up my mouth pink with blood. To delight in them is not enough. These are not Sodom and Gomorrah types of people. They write songs and stroke me like a cat. But it is unwise to make one sandwich from banana bread. God, I would like to ask for a holy task in lieu of these people, to raise one of your children as my own. Giveth to me a pot roast family so I might have satisfying direction. But what? Is it right then to bring into this world a baby so that I will be thoroughly entertained in an existential way? So that I might be taught by a hotshot young teacher? Is that such a right reason to subject someone to everything for? Because my 20s are vapid and vain, bring a child into this soda can crushed world? Have a child in America? Buckle them in a sweatshop car seat, make them dance for their doctor, and teach them via chart the difference between upsetting, inevitable, and necessary violence? I saw a Tucker Carlson interview. He said having a kid is the best decision a young man could make for his life. They'll force you to get your act together, make your bed in the morning, and a lot of money throughout the day. I read a Kenzaburo Oe book. He wrote, "In this age of ours, it's hard to say for certain that having lived was better than not having been born in the first place. Parents have children for fulfillment, kids drain their wrists and scrape together rent in the waiting room of young adulthood until their own umbilical thing pops out, allowing them to truly live. Is this our cycle? Elder generations cleaving to their babies, reveling in the all is possible of youth, seeing a million doors open to their child although only one can be walked through? If not the child, must I Kerouac myself for fulfillment? Gawk at trees and ponds in the moment between back alley orgasms, trample across cities and scrape out the oyster from the world so there's no oyster left for anyone else to enjoy? I look so miserable in my job that a man walked by and greeted me today, nary a word to me ever before. He said, "Look on the positive side. It's Friday Eve." I've written enough wowing language that I can now afford to be clear. I do not know what is right as far as my questions go. It might be a verified natural process that one needs the generation one above to be born and the generation one below to be happy. The most fulfilled dinks I know have a teacher in the family. I got roommates and bottles that bring us together as the Birdman. We say, "You are me, I am you, and I am the Birdman." But to delight in them is not enough. Not these images. Iced matcha latte loaded into a high-pressure, dentist-grade water floss, blasting under my tongue and spraying free from the half-pipe curvature of my mouth. I try to drink it up. I try to spit it out. Cookies in a jar in the kitchen filled with the cream inside caught me with my hand buried in it, and I flicked the cream at you. Pollock is the placement of cream on the canvas. Pistachio marshmallow fluff, whipped with whole halves of toasted nuts, dolloped on my hand in my sleep. My nose then brushes with a summer camp feather. And a trophy case full of trophies filled with yogurt. I open my jaw and suck it out. Peach, chocolate, vanilla, pineapple, Greek. To delight in them is not enough. I'm either pregnant or I'm embarrassed, and there's no in between. Well, I'm surprised the great tree finally woke up and read a poem. He must be taking a liking to you. I set out some chairs. Beings who hear themselves mentioned in a poem are prone to materialize out of nowhere. These chairs were just taking up space in my pocket, so I figured if any of these beings show up, they'll have a high-backed chair to rest on. They're good conversationalists, I recall. Narcissists, though, the whole bunch. Ah, I'm just joking. There are no rules as to where you can sew a pocket. There used to be back in the old time, but then pioneering seamstresses and tailors like myself changed the pocket game with our avant-garde ways. Harry's Valley has been my home for a long time. The cigarette heads used to smoke cigarettes. That's how long I've been in this valley. This one's called Airplane Mode. An earnest boy sat next to me on the plane. When I pulled out The World According to Garp as I took my seat, he took it as his cue to pull out a book of his own. And when the flight attendants put on flaccid life vests and took to the intercom to demonstrate potential emergency responses, he closed his book, sat up straight, and gave them the attention that they were owed. I kept reading my book. I bet this boy would question my moral character if he knew my phone was not on airplane mode. On a sound stage, there are 10 purple plums with Mickey Mouse arms wiggling them around like SpongeBob, bobbing up and down all munchkin-like. On the other side of the 10 of them are 2 carrots doing a funky, synchronized version of the robot. Dance. Blinding source force, blaring horns, and the booming of surround sound speakers. Hello, and welcome to Food for Thought! Broadcasting live from Foodland. Here are today's contestants. A broccoli from Foodland. Broccoli! An onion from Foodland. Onion! Go onion! A potato fresh out of Foodland. Potato! And finally, a computer programmer from Akron, Ohio, Marcus Schumacher. And now, introducing your host, Lime. Lime, we love you, Lime. We love you, Lime. Hello. We've got 4 great contestants. One of them coming all the way from Akron, Ohio, USA, the Earth. Let's not waste any time dilly-dallying, folks. Let's play the game. Our categories for this first round: beans, edible wrappers, and dishes of Egypt. Broccoli, you get first pick. Give me beans for 1,000. Commonly known as the double bean, this bean is used to stall rising blood pressure. Bzzz. Potato, Lime says. What are lima beans? Right you are, Potato. My favorite kind of beans, Lime quips. Potato, back to you. Edible wrappers 1,000? This wrapper comes in both sweet and unsweet varieties, with the sweet option being a favorite of the American South, often enjoyed with a lemon slice sitting on the edge of the glass. Iced tea, Onion cries. Correct. Where are we going next? Dishes of Egypt, 800. The national dish of Egypt comes in instant variety akin to the ramen of Japan.
Koshery, Broccoli sprouts. Right you are, Lime exclaims. And since the three of our four contestants are on the board, it is time for our first souping. Wow, wow, put 'em in the soup. At hearing this, the eclectic crowd of fruits and vegetables goes nuts. They grab each other's faces with their early 20th century animated arms and shake about. Speaking almost in tongues, they erupt into a chant. Put 'em in the soup! Put 'em in the soup! Mr. Schumacher, please add yourself to the pot. The pot? Schumacher is dumbfounded. You can't be serious. I thought that was only for foods. We're sentient beings. Mr. Schumacher, Lime levels. Legally, you are an ingredient. You signed the papers yourself, and you said that before the show how much of a big fan you are. I believe your exact words were, "It's an honor to be the first representative of Earth to play food for thought." The once smooth-moving carrots seize Marcus Schumacher by his fleshy arms. Haven't you seen the show? What did you expect? There will be no special treatment. In fact, it's a felony in your country and mine to rig or give anyone preferential treatment on a game show. Please, I have eyes and a brain. You do too. Be compassionate, he screams, now mere steps away from being thrown over the edge of the pot. No, Mr. Schumacher, you have eyes. We do not. Besides, you've eaten soup before. You've eaten the soup. Marcus looks around, at potato, at onion, at broccoli, at the plums, at the carrot brutes, and at lime. None of them have eyes but himself. They are foods with arms and legs, but no eyes or mouths. But everyone there in that room is an ingredient, as is he. The carrots throw him into the pot of boiling soup. Onion would go next, losing on a question about the rapper Lil Reese. Potato would go on to win this episode of Food for Thought, enjoying the first sip of the onion broccoli Marcus soup. Though tragically, just 6 months later, Potato would fall just 500 points short in the final round of the Tournament of Champions, losing, ironically, because of a question about spuds. He, like us all, was swiftly boiled in the soup. I walk in zigzags, I have loose morals, I speak in rhymes and get in quarrels. I am the traveling pocket salesman. For only $1 and the tickle of my nose, I'll sew a pocket right onto your clothes. Hey, champ, what do you say? Killing sheep, huh? Talk about food for thought. You don't eat 'em? What a waste! Look, I want to chat with you about showbiz, say Jack and Trebek and Source 4s and all that stuff, but I need to finish my soup first. My ingredients ran for their lives. It's a mess. This is what I get for traveling without muscle. Could you help me find them? Should be an onion, a broccoli, a potato, and Marcus Schumacher. Coffee doesn't rain, it pours. So when it pours onto the floor, out from the straw I am supposed to suck, it is best to sop up the coffee from the cup with a napkin, or if none are available, the face of some schmuck, if they are willing to press their face to the floor and mop it up. For that reason, I am donating my fingers, to be moistened via lick, so that they might stick on top of some thick smudge, and that the smudge might be peeled from the earth, and transferred to my fingers, and since I am donating these such fingers, maybe you could donate the licks, or even some sucks, and for the both of us, this collaboration might be really fun. Candyland. I leave my house, walk around the streets. There is no crime. Is this how the world is now? It is as if the atmosphere is one huge cotton ball, thread stuffing up my nose, coughing up my throat. I asked this raggedy-ass man for a cigarette at the bus stop. Was he too poor? He looked homeless. Should I have asked a richer-looking man for a smoke instead? Well, the bus stop man still gave me one. This is our world. We don't have to do anything, but we get to be a part of this, I heard someone say.
Now, we ain't moving. We ain't moving. We're staying here. This is our spot, man. You coming into Aries Valley, baby face, skin looking smooth as a Constantine Brancusi sculpture, and you telling us to move it? Pathetic. We ain't moving, smooth face. I don't know what the last game you played was. Candyland, golf, bocce ball, but that kind of behavior doesn't fly with us, man. We've been in Aries Valley for years, pal. We've seen the sheeps come and go, give birth, raise children, die with the autumn trees, rise with the spring flowers, decompose, bury the dead, cremate each other. Whatever it is that sheeps do, we've seen it. You know, play cards, eat grass, lay eggs, commute. You know, do whatever. We've been watching. The point is, we seen it from the spot. This is our spot. We ain't moving. Well, I guess we could do for a smoke. Tell you what, give us 3 cigs, one for each hand, and we'll step aside. We'll move. Look, we gave it up a long time ago. The traveling pocket salesman used to light them for us since we have no hands, but then he quote unquote stopped enabling us. Left us sitting here with terrible withdrawals, just rocking back and forth with 3 heads worth of headaches. Damn that traveling pocket salesman. We still got a lighter, though. Give us 3 cigs and we'll hop aside. This path we're blocking leads right to the lowlands, in fact. Great place to see some sheeps. 3 cigarettes. Got it, smooth face?
Macy and me too. In the second grade, Macy Lewis, Delaney McKenna, and I all had different teachers. Late March of that year, we found ourselves together as a trio for the first time since the last day of school at the blue table in Miss Adler's kindergarten classroom. Naturally, though we were only 7 years old, we started to reminisce. Many of our respective new second grade friends started to gather around, salivating at the thought that they might get a glimpse into our storied kindergarten past. It was Delaney who brought up spelling tests. In kindergarten, we never ventured past cat, dog, or and as far as I could remember the spelling tests go. However, the words Delaney boasted that we spelt back then were categorically ludicrous. Bunny, together, rainbow, Monday, and finally dragonfly. I know what I should have said. I should have put my hand out square in front of my chest, palm outstretched, and said, "Stop. Delaney, we never once, in the confines of Miss Adler's classroom, ever wrote down that word dragonfly. Ever. Never, ever." But nothing came out. I said nothing. I nodded complicitly. So did Macy, that passive fuck. She nodded too. A couple of spineless accomplices taking spineless credit for an accomplishment we never accomplished. I hate Delaney, and I hate Macy and me too. Hey, I'm Macy, the poet's friend from kindergarten who we lied about the spelling test with. That's right, I'm a real-life person-ish. I have some fourth wall-breaking stories about the poet in elementary school, if you want to grab at the chair. Bingo! You got 'em all. Let me throw 'em in the pot and stir. Well balanced. The onion and Schumacher interplay nicely with the cumin and coriander. Alton Brown, I am coming for your job. Thanks for allowing me to put one of your own in the soup. That took courage.
Come see me at the chairs if you want to talk about my life and showbiz. I'm about to hit the road for a podcast tour after this, so you could help me workshop my scrapes and gaffes.
Who I want to see when I go to parties. Oh, fuck yeah. It's the Pillsbury Doughboy. That's what I'd say if I saw the Pillsbury Doughboy walk inside. Then I'd dap him up.
So what do you want to talk about, kid? Quite the face on that guy. He's got enough facial features to donate me a whole face and still have a couple of cheekbones left over. Nah, I'm just busting his balls. He's great. Nice guy. He loves his show. He wants to do right by Survivor. You gotta respect that. I poached one of his catchphrases, actually. Anytime Jeff reveals a burger or a taco reward, he talks about them having all the fixins. Man, hell yeah. So on my show, once all the losing foods have been chopped, stirred, and boiled into the soup, and the last two go to a sudden death question, I say, "This one is for all the fixins." Man, does the crowd go wild. So what do you want to talk about, kid? Food for thought is trashy TV. Like Jerry Springer level trashy. Even though it's trivia, the people watch for the spectacle of the soup. The contestants know they might die. We're not as prissy about dying as you humans are. We die all the time. We're food. Your world eats 11 million pounds of us every day, and there's still people calling me from Earth bitching about the soup? Still, tossing food screaming into a soup isn't tasteful. It's tasty, but not tasteful, if you know what I mean. The episode where we tossed the human in the soup was actually one of our most critically acclaimed ones. Everyone was happy to see a little retribution. One final thing about food for thought. Being a soup boiler on our show, it is one of the most dangerous jobs in all of Foodland. It's like being an underwater welder on Earth. I mean, think of it this way. If you're an onion slaving away over a boiling pot all day and you start to sweat, well, that's not good. If you're an onion and you sweat, well, you're cooked. So what do you want to talk about, kid? I don't live in Food City proper. I live in Citrus Village, a suburb about 40 miles north. Foodland smells, kid. All those people rotting on the streets in the bake of the sun. See, that's something you earthlings don't gotta worry about. Rotten. Not till you're dead. I mean, maybe rot will catch somebody's toe, but you never gotta see your brother or sister rot from the inside out. Not physically, maybe metaphorically. I mean, there are so many grapes who get the procedure before they can even talk. The procedure that turns them into raisins. It slows the aging process, but it's sad. There's all kinds of that stuff going on in Foodland. Cucumbers soaking a year in vinegar, transitioning into pickles because it makes them more desirable on the apps. Steaks turning into ground beef. Rice splitting their grains. And everybody and their mother getting fermented for longevity's sake. The crime rates are astronomical too. I packed up for Citrus City the moment I got my first job in showbiz. I was a producer on Slim Pickens, a strawberry dating show. Citrus City is climate controlled, Clementine controlled too. Think of it as one huge fridge where lemons, limes, grapefruits, and oranges party and smoke cigars together.
You know, it wasn't just spelling tests that Matthew the poet lied about. Back in the day, he got big into lying, into the weeds. To just me alone, he must have lied, I don't know, every day. Do you want to hear one of those lies? I think he said it at the same conversation with Delaney, the one from the poem. It was a science lie. I'm a lot less forgiving about science lies nowadays. Do you want to hear it? Unless you're a twin, most kids go into kindergarten alone, not knowing anyone. Maybe some kids have social parents and set up pre-kindergarten play dates, and maybe a few kids went to the same preschool, but for the most part, kids were running solo. Not me and Matthew. We knew each other beforehand because our brothers met in kindergarten. They did the legwork for us. So naturally, the other kids would ask us what it was like, knowing each other way back when we were 3 instead of 6. Man, would Matthew have a field day with this. Talking about a time when memories weren't formed was his happy place. Lies were more believable that way. The lie he told Delaney when she asked how we first met was literally insane. I should preface this by saying I don't remember how we first met, but I do know the story Matthew told about our first meeting on that kindergarten afternoon was a total lie. I know this because of the content of what he said. It was bonkers. He said when I first came over to his place that I walked through the front door and saw him covered in soot with his hair blown back because back then he apparently was really into mad science. He said we used to play with his beakers and test tubes while our brothers hit tricks on scooters in the driveway. But you know what? I told all the other kids I remembered it. I told them I was relieved he got over that phase. That's Matthew the scientist, y'all. He was a bad influence. He had me lying out the wazoo. You want to hear the biggest lie we ever told to each other? We were best friends in kindergarten. We sat at the blue table together every day for lunch. Neither of us had video game systems, real ones anyway. We did both own Leapsters, but that's just addition and phonics cosplaying as a mechanical frog. We didn't play any video games, but Matthew sure said he did. One day, he walked in with his blue lunchbox and told me about this game he was playing, Pyramid Panther. Blue lunchbox? That's typical of him. Even in kindergarten, he was too cool for Batman or Spider-Man or Clifford or whatever. He always liked staying neutral. Even now, 20 years later, he's got no tattoos or piercings, no stickers on his water bottle or computer, no decals on his car. You guess he rents everything he owns the way he keeps things as is. The only logo he wears is the Texas Rangers. I'm a Stros fan myself. Space City, baby. But anyway, he told me he spent the weekend eating Oreos and grinding puzzle levels in Pyramid Panther. Now, Pyramid Panther is a made-up game Matthew made up so he could play it on his made-up PS2. You push made-up boxes around made-up chambers on a made-up pressure plates until you clear the made-up level. The player character is an archaeologist panther named Miles. It sounded like a pretty fun game to me. Matt told me he beat the whole game, that he snuck past Pierre, the final boss, and snatched the golden tablet of the sun to safety. So that's what he did last weekend, he said. Then he ate slices of peeled cucumber from a Ziploc baggie. What he actually did that weekend, likely, was watch Indiana Jones. I told him that I already beat Pyramid Panther and that I was stuck on an early level in Pyramid Panther 2. He wasn't expecting that. I don't even think he was 100% sure I was lying. I think he thought he happened to be talking about the actual details of an actual game, that there was something divine happening. I even believed I was talking about a real game every once in a while, but his face didn't go pale or anything. That lying son of a gun didn't skip a beat. He started giving me pointers. Mansplaining, really, but he didn't go too far. He said after he beat Pyramid Panther 1, it was so good that of course he had to start Pyramid Panther 2. But, coincidentally,
he was stuck on the same level as I was. In fact, from that day forward, we talked about Pyramid Panther pretty much all the time, and every day we were stuck on the exact same level. For the entirety of kindergarten, and even a little into first grade, we sat down for lunch and discussed the game. We struggled our way through Pyramid Panther 2, just barely finding the long-gone emerald and placing it in the wall to activate the ray of the rising sun. Pyramid Panther 3 was great because it was in a jungle setting. Oh, take me back to those sweaty days slashing through the mean green forest with my trusty bird Hugo flying at my side. And finally, the fourth Pyramid Panther was also a heavy hitter. Talking through that one, we both probably said ziggurat for the first time in our lives. The accursed ziggurat, was it? It was really pretty nice until the game franchise ended unexpectedly. After the completion of Pyramid Panther 4, the dev team announced Pyramid Panther 5 was being left on the cutting room floor. Not a large enough player base, I guess. The announcement happened to coincide with the last day of school. I think it's poetic how things turned out, though, after we grew up. Do you want to know what I think is poetic? He's an author now and I'm an editor. I think that's pretty poetic. I'm not his editor, he wishes, but I'm an editor either way. And we both grew up to be pretty huge Survivor fans. There might be something poetic about that, too. When I say me, I'm talking about the real-life woman who I represent. Her name isn't Macy, and she's not 6 forever. He's been lying about that, too. Hate to break it to you. She's 22-ish right now, but her name does start with an M. Girl, yes it does.
Abstract art has no value. Hyperpop has no value either. Heavy metal has no value. Surrealist poetry, no value as fuck. Country music and Renaissance paintings are the ultimate forms. Country music and Renaissance paintings are the light of the world. Sabrina Carpenter, no value. Rappers in general, no value. TikTok videos, no value. Reality TV, negative value. Country music and Renaissance paintings are the ultimate forms. Country music and Renaissance paintings are the light of the world. Playing with your food, no value. Jackson Pollock, no value. The Puppy Bowl, no value. Color field paintings, absolutely zero value. Baby Keem, presidential speechwriters, D&D podcasters, blank pages, electronic dance music, Georgia O'Keeffe, clowns, your child's finger paintings, hardcore punk, Hawk to a Girl, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, SpongeBob, the game on TV, sound collages, local cover bands, graffiti, rock gardens, rock music, pop music, reggae music, tropical drum circles, panelists on daytime news shows, Marshmello, Skrillex, 100 Gex, Dr. Dre, Kendrick Lamar, Snoop Dogg, Macklemore, A Tribe Called Quest, Hannibal Buress, drag queens, yo-yo storytellers, Vine stars, paintings that look like your dog's vomit, cosplay costumes made entirely out of felt, alpha bro podcasters, obscene furry comic books, video games and their streamers on Twitch, YouTube fan art in the anime style, no value. Country music and Renaissance paintings are the ultimate forms. Country music and Renaissance paintings are the light of the world. Contemplating the GOAT of the NBA. LeBron. Jordan. Hmm.
Don't you send me on a whole emotional rigmarole. Please, feed the tree. Lovely happenings are bound to be happening.
I am a 1-inch thick slab of flesh embedded on the sidewalk between slabs of concrete equal in size to myself. Across my whole being, an open wound. It is red and tender. It is cracked and dried from the constant rays of the sun. You came a-walking by with a citrus fruit in your hands, thoughtlessly, as your legs gingerly maneuvered around as to not step on me. Juice from your fruit dripped onto my exposed gash. I am almost completely exposed gash. I writhed, wriggled, and squirmed. My wound boiled up and steamed at the point of contact with the juice. Loving what you saw, loving what you made me do, loving that you held the secret that makes me dance, you emptied the rest of the fruit. You watched with glee as my wounded eyes screamed. You then tossed the juiceless peel my way as well. Now you come back to my little spot in the sidewalk most days, sometimes with a single lemon, sometimes with a whole dozen oranges. You burn little patterns onto my wound. You love the discoloration, the chemical reaction, the smoke. I like something being done about my wound.
Thank you bunches for playing the demo. I hope you enjoyed playing it as much as I enjoyed having you here. Please, wishlist Sheeps on Steam so you can come back and enjoy even more of this wonderful world of sheeps, poetry, characters, music, and nature. The full game includes hundreds of poems and a regular slew of wacky characters. See you at the God Library. Matthew and AJ send their bust from the real world. Ciao.
So what do you want to talk about, kid? I met that male floozy Sajak at the Emmys. The first joint Foodland Earth Primetime Emmy Awards. It was also the last. We were both up to win the Emmy for Outstanding Host for a Reality Competition Show, and he won, I lost, that's no big deal. I'm a grown lime man. You don't get into my industry without knowing defeat as intimately as you know your wife. You know what I mean? But the thing is, I stand up to shake his hand like any respectful competitor would do, and he shakes it back nice and firm. But then the dude turns around to his lackeys and his wife and his side chick probably, and he says, "Lime's looking a little sour, huh?" A little sour? Look, I know game show hosts have got to make jokes, man. I know it. I make jokes. But I mean, he went full Ellen DeGeneres. He punted our friendship for laughs. For a pun that is one, offensive, and two, without any basis in reality. And you know what? This is important. Look me in the eyes. You can't look me in the eyes because I don't have a fucking face, kid. So how the hell is Pat Sajak gonna make a joke about me being all sour after the loss when I have no goddamn facial expressions? Buddy, I do have fists though. I got fucking fists, bub. That's what I should have said to Pat. But I got more class than that. So what do I think of that Pat Sajak? I think he's a bitch. I say, tie him up to the middle of the Wheel of Fortune wheel and make him spit the ball out of his mouth when the contestants spin it around for a clue. So what do you want to talk about, kid?
Trebek, man, he's a master of the profession. A steward of the game. Class act, too, let me tell you. Jeopardy is not an easy show to run. You gotta be on your toes, you gotta keep your ears peeled for mispronunciations, and on top of that, you gotta make those nerdy smiles pop on TV. Man, food for thought is all smoke and mirrors. If it wasn't for the soup, if it wasn't for the steaks, we wouldn't make enough money to keep a lamp on. Not to mention 100 source force. We got no substance, no protein. But Jeopardy is real. It's war. It's chess. It's cheese, man. It's a game that happens to be a game show. My game needs the show for us to get players. But in any given U.S. town, there's probably no less than 1,000 people who'd play Jeopardy for no money with the cameras off. And by the way, he's a nice guy, too. He didn't heckle me like that asshat Pat Sajak. And geez, I'm talking present tense, huh? It's hard to put the was in front of Trebek's name. It's hard. Thanks for talking to me, bub. I think I'm ready to tell all these stories on Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan and Normal Gossip. Thanks for prepping me for this podcast tour. Good thing you're not prepping me for a plate of ceviche. I've eaten lime and stuff. I mean, what's the difference? I gotta eat food, so I'm not gonna draw the line at lime. In Foodland, we're all food together. Key lime pie, guac with lime, margaritas, Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon. I've tried them all. That Pat Sajak better watch his back. When it's my time to go, I might squeeze myself into those beady TV eyes of his. My wife's name is Lime. She's a lime, too. Gotta stay out of the sun. Don't want to dry up. The phrase "into the limelight" actually comes from me and my show. There's such a radiant glow on my skin when I stand up at the podium and read the questions that, when the sun would glisten on the back of a food on the beach, their friends would say, "Wow, looks like you just stepped into the lime's light." When the phrase made its way over to Earth, the apostrophe S was dropped, and it would forever be known as limelight. Our juice is not our blood. Our juice is our juice, and there is no blood. These poems get my juices pumping, except there is one about sizzling peppers that just makes me nauseous. I've eaten lime and stuff.
The tree is good for Matthew, I think. He's always appreciated nature, so I think it probably feels good for him to see nature appreciating his work. You want to know who I think is going to win season 50 of Survivor? I think it's going to be Aubrey. She should have won it her first time on that island. She's a robbed goddess. After a bad showing her last time, though, I think she gained some much-needed perspective and is seen by the rest of the cast as a lot less threatening than she should be. After we fake played through the whole Pyramid Panther tetralogy, there were a few spin-off series we tried out, like Pierre's penny-popping pinball, but we both agreed none of the other games could hold a fake candle to the originals. Even Pyramid Panther 4 had its issues. The devs were phoning it in. I like sitting here listening to the trees speak. There are some things I would change. I'm an editor, what can I say? But it's nice. Matthew stabbed himself with a piece of pencil lead one day under the table during kindergarten and was too scared of talking to the teacher to ask to go to the nurse. To this day, he still has a sliver of graphite lodged in his knee. I think the reason he didn't talk much to adults is because he couldn't lie to them so easily. After finishing Pyramid Panther 3, we each got a digital certificate of completion. Ha! Play made-up games, win made-up prizes, I guess. There's a lot to love about the Pyramid Panther games. The cel-shaded art style, the innovative path-making options, the fact that all the characters talk and rhyme. Frankly, I wish it was real. I wish we had that power. I wish we had the computer science know-how. We grew apart as we grew older. Matthew got super into high school theater, and I became one of our school's top mathletes. Talk about fake it till you make it, I'll say. I really had a lot of fun with the lies, truth be told. There was so much detail and passion. His lies were a little shot in the arm. The tree is good for Matthew, I think. You want to know who I think is going to win season? After we fake played through the whole pure.
Thank you bunches for playing the demo. I hope you enjoyed playing it as much as I enjoyed having you here. Please, wishlist sheeps on Steam.